This month, on Students in the Super podcast, Dr. Spray heads to Southport High School to learn what's so awesome about the girls' wrestling team. This podcast is brought to you by Prodigy Burger Bar at 135 and County Line Road.
Welcome to the Students in the Super podcast. I appreciate your attention. Our sponsor again this year is Prodigy Burger. They bring us boxes and boxes of food, great sponsorship, great food as well. I'm Dr. Patrick Spray, Superintendent of the Perry Township Schools. Joining me today is the Southport High School wrestlers. 4 of them are joining us today. If you would take just a second, if you could introduce yourself, your name, what grade you're in. We'll just start from there at the end.
My name's Leah. I'm a senior.
My name's Kyla. I'm a senior.
My name's Mila. I'm a sophomore.
My name's Candy. I'm a freshman.
Okay, excellent. Appreciate the representation from most of the classes. We also have their coach that'll be joining us in here in a few minutes as well. But we're going to start out with just a little bit of fun and a little bit of trivia with regards to wrestling. So we have 5 questions, so we have an odd number, so somebody's going to win. All right, here we go. Question number 1. Which month does the official IHSAA girls wrestling season begin? In which month?
No. Wait.
Guys, you should know your schedule, right? When does practice start?
November 1st.
November 1st. That is not correct.
No?
It actually starts in October.
I was going to say October.
Coach, you need to get their schedule to them quicker.
I knew it.
This is a true or false? True or false? In 2022, the United World Wrestling Federation announced the introduction of a new weight class specifically for women. Is that correct? United World Wrestling Federation's new weight classes for women in 2022. True or false?
True?
Not true. It was in 2019.
Oh my Lord.
0 serving 0. Who was the first girl to win an individual state championship in high school? And I think it was the Indiana individual state championship in high school. First girl to win.
What? I remember somebody said it like a week ago.
Hint, her sister teaches in one of our schools. You probably don't know that, but I believe it's Southport Elementary.
She also made it to the Olympics this past Olympics.
Kayla Miracle.
You
Kayla
literally
Miracle
said that.
competed in the 2024 Summer Olympics. All right, here we go. Somebody's got to get a point. Here we go. True or false? Women's wrestling was first introduced as an Olympic event in 2004. 20 years ago. Is that true or false?
False.
True. All right, so here we go. For 4 out of 5 questions. The percentage is not good. All right, last question. Which city hosted the inaugural Indiana Girls Wrestling State Tournament?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis, what a big score, 1-0. Excellent, excellent. All right, so we're going to kind of break off from here. Great job, I think. A little bit of a struggle on some of that trivia, but we're going to transition a little bit and sit down and have you guys talk a little bit about your wrestling programs and what this has meant to you guys. Obviously, it hasn't always been a sport, and for girls, when I grew up, or many of us grew up, and that sort of thing. But what has kind of brought you or navigated you to do wrestling?
I think it was more like when we used to take my brother to practice all the time, and I would go in there and practice with him. And then after that, I had a lot of coaches around me that told me that I had potential in wrestling and that I could really be good at it. And then one day I just started, and after that I just took off.
All right. Do any of you guys have a sibling or a parent or somebody in your family that wrestled?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're familiar with the sport?
Well, he started wrestling after me.
Oh, okay. Okay. Has anybody ever made a comment or a funny face or some kind of strange reaction when you tell them that you wrestle?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that.
Some people think it's weird, and some have said that I'm basically a guy because I wrestle. And that, like, I don't know, it's just weird. It's not normal, apparently.
Okay. Anybody else want to chime in there?
I guess when like people find out that you wrestle like as a girl, they're more like intimidated by you.
Okay.
Like, they're scared of you, and they don't think that like they'll like try to play with you like, oh, you're not as strong as me. Oh, I can do this, I can do that. When in all reality, they can't.
Okay. Very good. Very
They
good.
can.
So it's kind of interesting being kind of the pioneers in the sport, really.
Yeah.
I mean, as young as this sport is and being involved, so that's excellent. This will be upcoming the very first year of it being an official sport for the IHSAA. Last year it was considered not a preliminary, what was the term they used?
Emerging.
An emerging, okay, and it has been. I'll tell you, last year I went to the girls sectional, and I think it was hosted down in Franklin, Indiana, and I was so impressed by the attendance, by the number of teams that had full teams, but also just by the energy in the room that happened. So it was just really impressive. And I know this sport has grown from just a couple of hundred girls to almost 1,500 girls last year participating in wrestling in the state of Indiana. So that's really awesome as well. Coach Skinner, what has this process been like for you as the coach? Because you coach the boys wrestling program as well, correct? And then kind of what are your thoughts just with this becoming an official sport sanctioned by the High School Athletic Association?
I think it's a good time. I would have liked to have seen it happen last year. I think those numbers jumped considerably, but 1 year removed is not going to hurt anything. I think the numbers are going to jump again. I'm excited for it. Personally, it's getting to be, it's getting to be 2 varsity programs, right? When it first started, it was a couple of extra girls on top of the boys program, and now it's kind of its own entity. We're lucky that a lot of the national championships compete side by side. Boys and girls compete together so they can travel together, and we can, room in the same hotels. It makes it easier. But I think eventually girls wrestling is going to catch up to the boys, and it'll be something where, one head coach isn't going to be able to handle both.
Right. Yeah. I agree. Well, then also just, a lot of the schools, as they build the program, it's going to be because they wrestle at the same season, correct?
Yeah, they're in the same season, so a big problem that everybody's having is
space.
Facilities.
Physical space, absolutely.
Yeah. Being able to, most schools, like we do, we have to have separate practices. You got to find the time to get your girls in, then get your guys in. Early on, it was easy. A couple of extra girls in the room wasn't a big deal, but when you've got a full team, 2 full teams, you got to coordinate that. Yeah. And it's just a challenge, another hurdle to jump over that we'll jump over just fine.
Yeah. I guess girls, what is the secret to your success? I mean, what have you taken from wrestling and that you really have to do in order to be successful in this sport?
Discipline.
Discipline? Okay. What does that mean to you?
Like you're working hard and like, I don't know how to explain it. Like when you're saying you can't do it, you have to show up to all practices, you have to work harder than you usually do. It's like...
Well, it's not just showing up in October, right?
Yeah, it's like overall, like summer, fall, winter.
All the programs and all the years. Okay, absolutely. We've had a pretty successful program here at Southport, and Perry Meridian also has a girls program. And wrestling's kind of been a big deal in Perry Township for a long time.
Yeah.
In both schools. And Coach, can you speak to that a little bit? Just kind of what that tradition is in both of our high schools in the district.
The boys program over at Perry's been good for a long time. That was one of the rooms that I used to drive down to when I was in high school to get a workout in the summer. And then having the opportunity to coach here at this school, knowing that Perry was across the street, it told me that this place can succeed, and I wanted to take a shot at it. So that was one of the reasons I took the job, was because of the success at Perry Meridian. And then I got lucky that Kyla and Ava showed up when they did, and Ava's older sister, Anna Mae, came in. At that time, I wasn't trying to be the pioneer. I was just trying to coach a sport. And these 3 girls showed up and said, we want a girls team and we want to compete. Kyla ended up making it onto the varsity lineup for the boys, which made it was easier for me because she's just a wrestler in my varsity lineup that we're going to work out with. And the other 2 girls kind of forced me into this girls wrestling thing, and I've been hook, line, and sinker ever since. I think they got second. Those 3 girls finished second that first year. Then they We got third 2 years ago, and we got second again last year.
Yeah, so
as
state
a
runners
team-
up 2 of the last 3 years as a team, and you had a state champion last year as well. So
Yes.
And so talk to me a little bit about that journey and kind of the school factor of that. And, you know, we had another young lady sitting here that got injured in the state finals, but is going to come back for a little redemption this year.
Yeah, she's going to be fine. We're going to win another one. It's always fun coaching, you know, a kid that's really good. It's easier. You get to relax in the corner. Every moment on the mat's not a nail biter. With Kyla and Ava, they just find ways to win. They have a strong foundation, and when you make a mistake, they punish you for it. It's easy to coach kids like that. It's a lot more involved to take a kid that's in the middle of the road and try to get them to that spot. And I think our success is a tribute to their work ethic. Having those 2 girls in the room, you know, every other girl that comes in has this expectation of, oh, this is what I have to do.
So what was it like for you girls this summer to watch the Olympics and watch the girls wrestling in the Olympics? What'd you think about that? What'd you take away from that and being able to see that them compete at the highest level?
I think if you like have the drive to like come to practice that every day, like watching that like gives you the motivation to like want to be there, like want to work up to like wrestling in the Olympics, going to college and stuff like that.
You guys mentioned about that drive, discipline, showing up every day, those kinds of things. Do you think those are transferable skills outside of the wrestling room? Are those things you can use in everything you do?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's something that's really cool about sports and interclassic competition and that sort of thing. It's something your coaches instill in you and your parents as well, is that hard work, that drive, that grit takes you a long way in life, for sure. So appreciate that and appreciate getting to know you guys a little bit. Coach, when's the first match?
Our first match, I believe, is November 6th. We've got a dual meet with Lawrence North High School.
And how many weight divisions are there?
There are 14 weight classes. Right now we've got some holes in the lineup. I think last year we ended the season with 2 holes in the lineup. We had 12 girls at sectional. We'll fill those holes, I believe. We have girls trickling in the room all the time that want to try it out. So the excitement of the sport, I think sanctioning is going to help everybody. You know, those girls actually get to compete in the IHSAA. It's not a club anymore. So I think we'll fill those holes. And we'll have some fun. So 14 weight classes.
I have an 11-year-old daughter who recently said, she goes, what's this girls wrestling thing? How can I try that out? And that kind of stuff. So we're exploring that in my house to kind of see if this is something that's going to stick or if it's going to be something that she goes forward. So I may bring her over here for you guys to introduce her to the sport. How about that?
Yeah, it'll be fun.
All right, excellent. Well, thank you very much for joining me. We really appreciate it. Again, want to thank for everybody for supporting this podcast. We'll be doing it again very soon. And then lastly is just another shout out to our sponsor, Prodigy Burger, for this swag. These are pretty cool water bottles, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
That's it for Students in the Super. Join us next time as we continue to highlight the awesome things happening in Perry Township Schools.